Biden needs to apologize for Antifa violence on the White House. Antifa aren't Trump supporters. Trump supporters were peaceful.
Drinking with my girls, drinking with my boys. Hey, I came to party.
Big shout out to my dad and mom. Dad was a Korean War vet. Yesterday, two of the greatest people I know just celebrated their 60th wedding anniversaries. I love you guys so. You're such a huge inspiration to me. But we have video footage now of proof that the media is lying when they say that these are Trump's peaceful protests turned violent. No, it's not true. They were infiltrated by Antifa. And here's the proof. You'll see in this video, Antifa trying to hammer through a window and then a Trump supporter bringing him to the ground. You can always tell Antifa because they're scrawny. They look like they play too many video games. They've never been outside. And you can always tell the Trump supporters because we look like fat middle-aged people at a church barbecue. Here we are in the Epic Times. This really is the crux of the situation here. It says, in addition, prosecutors plan to file 15 criminal cases in the federal court by the end of January 7th for crimes including unauthorized access to the Capitol and Capitol grounds, holding firearms, and theft of property, Sherwin told reporters. I have to always remind you guys that my opinion is as a barely literate comic book artist. Remember that. 15 criminal cases. I think there's merit to some of these. It was unauthorized access. That's a fact. They didn't have authorization. They accessed the Capitol grounds. I think that's a very kind way of putting it. They had unauthorized access, that's all. They were holding firearms. You know, if you're going to come to your house even with unauthorized access, maybe don't bring a firearm. But it's not the firearms that I'm really worried about. A little farther down in the article, it says, a man was arrested by federal agents with a military semi-automatic rifle. Not a big deal. But 11 Molotov cocktails were ready to go. That's a problem. And that's not a Trump supporter. That's a Biden or Bernie supporter. Because only wussies in Antifa use Molotov cocktails. Here's exclusive video footage from Man on the Ground for Doug TenNapel in Exile. Sean, R2D2 for life.
Hey, R2D2 for life. We decided to go ahead and exit out the area. And, there was a person that announced over a microphone that someone had stormed the Capitol and they thought it was Antifa. I would just let everyone take a caution about believing the first things that you hear from these reports. And no one around us seemed to be the type of folks that would participate in this. So just kind of keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your minds open, and kind of wait to see what happens with this. But most of all, be safe. R2D2 signing off, saying bye to everybody, and Doug's TenNapel's in Exile show.
Biden and Kamala Harris need to come out and make a public statement that they condemn that, and that's why they're more responsible than Trump. Trump had to just walk around with his tail between his legs, and really he let me down when he implied that it was in any way our people that were doing any violence. Our people were not violent, period.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Our people did not carry Molotov cocktails. You media morons, I think it's obvious.
How would we appreciate this with them?
Oh, and at the end of this, it also said that they're being charged for theft of property. Yeah, if you're that guy with the horns and you walked out with Nancy Pelosi's pedestal, I know you were being funny. Even the court knows you're being funny. Being funny and joking is not a cover for theft. I don't know what's going to happen to these people. I don't think we want this court case to look like North Korea.
Taking down a pro-regime political banner from the staff area of a hotel.
Peaceful
of the DPR Korea for your forgiveness. Please, I have made the worst mistake of my life.
You know, for inciting this kind of violence, I think Biden should be impeached. He's probably unfit for office too. They ought to run that Article 25 thing on him too. Because how do I know that? Oh, he's pro-Black Lives Matter.
Harris-Biden administration.
They have, and the brilliance and the impact of Black Lives Matter.
Of course. Here we go. Look at this guy, Earl Sullivan. Black Lives Matter activist took part in storming of the Capitol. Took part, he probably led it. John Earl Sullivan, who was advocated for an armed revolution on social media, was arrested in July 2020 for making a threat of violence and criminal mischief. He organized a protest with Black Lives Matter activists and members of Antifa. We've got all of them. My friends sent me video footage, and they were praising God, singing praises, singing the national anthem. A bunch of fat, middle-aged people taking trains, having fun. That's what the millions of people did. That's what Trump led to D.C. He brought patriots and veterans. How dare Biden? How dare John Podhoretz at Commentary Magazine? Ben Shapiro? How dare these people blight the good, peaceful, the 99.999% millions of good, peaceful people with saying that Trump elicited some kind of a riot. That wasn't a riot. It was an assault. It was a infiltration by Biden's best friends, Antifa, by Biden's best friends, Black Lives Matter. Some of our good people trespassed and broke into the Capitol. They looked like they were taking a tour. They did not go there to destroy property. Anyone who says that is a liar. They did not go there to take over the government. Anyone who says that is a liar. There might be, maybe there's one guy, one radical, maybe, but that's not an assault on our country. If you think our country, what these people are saying is that our country is frail. You know what's really happening? They're terrified of we the people. Right now, they were hiding behind couches and quaking in their boots because they had to meet someone with mud on their shoes and dirt under their finger and people who have done a hard day's work. Welders, veterans, bus drivers, teachers. Those were my friends at that event, and they were terrified of them. I'm Doug TeNapel in exile.